This is a huge deal, my friends. The influence of Zacian on the Master League. And I'm telling you right now, I've actually run the team and I am killing with it. So let's get right into it. The Master League meta has often been defined as stale since not many Pokemon have the potential to shake up the metagame, and the amount of viable Pokemon in that league is quite limited. Dialga, especially if best buddied, has reigned supreme as the Master League's king ever since its release in the Go Battle League, but there is one Pokemon that has come to challenge its number one spot, and that Pokemon is none other than Zacian. Let's take a look at this. One of the best things about Zacian is that there is no best moveset. Its versatility is unmatched in the Master League meta, and it can play very different roles. So let's take a look. It can be lead, safe switch, and closer. As lead, it can be a double debuff moveset with close combat and wild charge. That's what I'm running right now. As a safe swap, you can usually run close combat plus play rough, and as a closer, you can do close combat plus either play rough or wild charge, up to you. These are some suggestions, but you can play it however you want based on your team comp and needs. For example, you could run a double debuff moveset as a safe swap, but it could be a little dangerous as you'd be forced to debuff yourself and the opponent could potentially farm you down. On top of that, Giratina Origin as a counter swap would wall you pretty hard. As you've probably seen, running close combat is almost mandatory, and the main reason you want to run a CC is to land the nuke on an opposing Dialga and other steel types such as Melmetal and Excadrill. The close combat deals about 71% on a best buddy Dialga, so keep that in mind before throwing it, as you'll debuff yourself right after. Zacian's typing is also great, making it only weak to steel and poison type moves. There is no relevant poison type in the Master League meta as of right now, and most steel types usually have to spend shields to knock you out. Metagross could perhaps be regarded as one of Zacian's hardest counters, but close combat hits so hard that they will probably have to at least use one shield, especially if you have a slight energy advantage in the mashup. Love this. How to play Zacian. I've seen several people say that Zacian equals easy legend and that you can't reach legend without Zacian plus Dialga. That's just wrong. Playing Zacian is not as easy as you may think, since you do have to master the debuff game. I'm currently learning that, and you have to count fast moves in order to handle the energy management. It's not very easy, but I'm having a lot of fun learning and doing it. Zacian's main damage output comes from its charge moves. Snarl isn't the kind of move that allows you to farm down your opponents. Thus, timing your charge moves correctly is mandatory, especially if you're using moves like close combat and wild charge. For example, you can tank an Iron Head from an opposing Dialga if your health bar is at 63% or higher, unless you're already debuffed. What most people tend to do is farm enough energy to get two close combats before throwing, and that way you're either going to get a knockout or two shields from your opponent. The mirror match is very annoying, especially if you're playing Zacian as your lead Pokemon. Most Zacians in the lead carry a double debuff moveset, close combat, wild charge. So nobody wants to go first, as taking a wild charge after being debuffed will hurt a lot more. But you also don't want to go over 100 energy, so winning / losing CPM ties or swapping out to catch a move is crucial. Zacian is like a joker, as it can perform pretty well in plenty of the different scenarios. If you're looking for great Zacian teams, you could pair it with a Dialga plus literally almost anything viable in the Master League meta, and you won't be disappointed. Common Zacian lines are Zarude, Excadrill, Zacian plus Double Dragon, Ho-Oh and Zacian Dialga, Lugia, Excadrill, Zacian, or good old Kyogre plus Dialga, Core plus Zacian, Tens instead of Togekiss. As you can see, using Zacian properly takes practice. One thing I would recommend is to check battle simulations on PvP Poke for calibration method. Once you know how much damage your charge moves do in a specific matchup, you're more likely to play that matchup correctly. Let's skip past all of this. It's really just a rehash. But I want to know, are you going to be using this on your team?